Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. I've been tinkering with my LeMat. Can you see it over here? Oh, that. Trying to clean it, and I think I got it clean, so I'm going to put it all back together. This is a Civil War vintage revolver made by a doctor in New Orleans. Very popular with the, oh, there it is. Very popular with the South. Not so much with the North. I don't think the North even used one. Generals Beauregard, Jeb Stuart, I think even Jefferson Davis had one of these. Did you know that he was Secretary of War before the war? And the reason that the South had so many cannon at the beginning is that Davis had got to slam that over to get it on. By the way, you see this gizmo? It's the tamping rod for loading up this smoothbore barrel for shotgun shells. And it's also very handy because without it, your loading bar does not stay in place. Let's see if that's lined up. Not quite. Glasses. Do I have my glasses on me? Do I have? There's a pair of glasses. Use those to check everything out. Make sure it's all copacetic and correct and stuff. And yeah, that looks good. Is that good? Let's see if that's good. Are you good? Let's see. Nope, you're not so good. Okay. Let's see here. There. These things are a real pain to get just so right that they work. It's not quite there, but it's close enough. Anyway, one thing I have to report is something that surprised the heck out of me. This is a rant video, by the way. Oh, back over here. Look at me. By the way, this is my GoPro. I'm trying one last thing. I bought a brand new SD card for it, and I put that on, and I'm seeing whether or not the problem is a totally wrecked SD card. If it is, well, that one goes to dumpster heaven, and this one stays to work. It's a 64 gig. They're not that expensive these days. I remember when these things cost a couple of $100. Anyway, my rant. I discovered yesterday something I had not known. I seem to be in YouTube jail, and for the life of me, I haven't a clue why. I didn't get any notification, but I was trying to make a reply to a particular guy's query on a subject. He was talking about it was a brass shell that had an engraving on it that said, what did the engraving say? Reims Cathedral. It had the crest for Reims Cathedral on it. Well, it looked to me like a brass foundry mark, but it was on an artillery shell. And I'm thinking, well, Reims was on the front line in World War I, and the Germans held it for the longest time. So I know that they had put a foundry in near there and were using it to make stuff to fire back at the French. So I think that was from a German foundry, and I think that's what it was. It was a German-made in a French foundry shell for World War I. But I tried to reply that, and I replied, and nothing happened. I mean, it didn't show up. I went, well, that's strange. So last night I replied to a fellow named Mark Novak, who is just the most superb gunsmith I've ever known or known of. And he's you can learn buckets from the guy. And I just wanted to say a good cigar and a new Mark Novak on. His life is just perfect. By the way, I also smoke cigars. A fellow turned me on to those about around June of this year, and ever since then, I've been hooked. And I figure I'm old enough now. I haven't been killed yet by anything. I gave up cigarette smoking 25 years ago, and I've been tobacco-free ever since. Except what I'm into is not your typical drugstore blunts. What I'm into are hand-rolled, high-end cigars. I mean, that one there costs about $10, I think, and that's a cheap one. I have a few that are real expensive, but I'm not going to smoke them for any time soon. A really high-end cigar really should be fermented for a while. But anyway, back to subject. I seem to have run afoul of the YouTube bot. And if you know anything about YouTube, you found that there's absolutely nothing you can do. You're not going to find a human being to talk to. It's not going to happen. Some of the bigger YouTube channels, Ian McCollum of Forgotten Weapons just did a YouTube video today talking about how, well, no, he can't put what he wants to put down because and he's not even sure what he can put down. There are no set rules that say, don't do this, do that. Nothing like that. You're just shooting in the dark the whole time. And in particular, gun tubers are really at the mercy because it's a subject that people in Silicon Valley and in San Francisco and around the California hopelophobic world hate. They just hate us out here in the Midwest and the rest of the country. we represent something that they just don't understand. Personal independence, personal integrity, honor, tipping the hat, opening the door, saying howdy, ma'am. Those are values that are just not accepted in the world of latte swilling West Coast boardrooms. So they've written, and they're the ones who wrote the damn bots. Now, I don't know if this particular video will even make it up to YouTube. If not, I'll be on Bitchute. By the way, I looked at the video that Ian McCollum was talking about. I have a Playeur account, and yes, I'm one of his subscribers on Playeur. It costs me, what, $5 a month. And that means I can see a lot of the videos that he puts out that don't show up on YouTube. It's worth it. It's just worth it, Heck, I bought 3 or 4 of his books up there. His next one that's coming out, I think I'm going to buy 2. I mean, he's a prolific writer. He's an absolute depth of knowledge, wealth of information. His videos going back over a decade have been some of the finest gun videos I've ever seen. He talks about guns that I've read about for years in Gun Digest, in Guns and Ammo, in various books. That the Colbury, the Schwarzlosa, the Fromer Stop, various systems that were in use in the late 19th, early 20th century. And they're just fascinating pieces of technology. And then they're an interesting world of technology that I have always really personally liked. And it fascinates me. It always has. Anyway, if you don't see me for a while, it's because I seem to have run afoul of the bot. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I said. I never really curse. I never lambaste the holy Biden. Not really, Let's go, Brandon. But I did something. Whatever it is, I don't know. Well, whatever it is, got me in trouble. Anyway, I got my LeMat cleaned and put back together again. If you're not familiar with a LeMat, it was originally 42 caliber, I think. This is 44 because that's more standard today. And, oh boy. Oh, there. This thing is still a little bit tight. I should put about 100 or so rounds through it just to loosen it up. Oh gosh, that thing is still not on right. Better. Anyway, you cock it, fire it. It works with a cap and ball the same way any other cap and ball revolver does. But, gosh, that is such a tight, it's just, this trigger is very hard to hit. But anyway, besides the usual nipples, it's got one right here, and this gizmo that you slam down like that, and then you can fire hitting that nipple firing off this shotgun blast. And I'm sure that some buck and ball out of that thing would make your point, really make your point. Like I said, General Beauregard carried this, which is understandable. LeMat married his cousin. He was one of the the participants in the LeMat Corporation. He was also the procurement officer for the Confederate Army. You know, a little bit of patronage going on there. Anyway, that's done, and you've heard my rant for the day. So I have to appease the gods of the YouTube bot, and I have no idea how to do it. That's my world. Happy trails.